Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles. I absolutely love helping trainers, presenters really take their training and presenting to the next level. So, in today's video, I want to talk to you about the topic of online training. Online training. Now, myself personally, this has certainly been a journey for me going from face to face to the online space and delivering training via Zoom or via Teams or any other online platform, so to speak. Now, it can be quite a scary and daunting transition, so to speak. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about the topic of fears of online training, fears of online delivery. You see, I personally know some trainers that are amazing, that are phenomenal in the face to face sphere, so to speak. And if you go to their workshops, you are blown away by how they deliver their content. But at the same time, they are people that are still saying, "Oh, I can't do the online stuff. I just can't do it. It's too scary for me." And in today's video, I want to talk to you about the four main fears that really come up for people as they're thinking about going onto the online space. And so, if you're ready, grab a pen and get ready to write. 'Cause I want to share these fears with you and dispel these fears so that you can get ready, get excited to start delivering online and take your amazing face to face skills and take them to the online space as well. So, first fear. First fear that comes up for people is visibility. Now, these fears that I'm going to share with you are from my own personal experience and research that I've done when I've been asking people around me and also doing surveys online and seeing what was really coming up for people. So, fear number one was an inability to actually see participants' body language or visibility around the participants. Now, this is certainly a really challenging one for a lot of people because, in the face to face environment, we love to connect with our audience. We know that so much, communication comes across from body language, non-verbal cues, tonality, and all those different things. And this one is a tricky one to get over, and it really comes back to essentially self belief. It comes back to self belief, belief in yourself, belief in your message. And the way it was really put to me, which I thought was amazing, was ESP. You see, you need to be able to be imagining that you are speaking to a whole bunch of people, but you are speaking telepathically. And when you can be in that space of trusting your message and also knowing that even if you can't see people, just by the vibe, you can judge how it's landing. Now, this really challenges a lot of trainers because they need to be able to go, I need to have situational awareness. I need to be able to read the room and have a lot more conscious awareness around my own communication. All right. So the way to get over fear number one is trust yourself and have that ESP and telepathic communication with yourself and the audience to be able to read it and read it really well. The second biggest fear is tech. So the first fear was visibility. Second one is tech. Now, what I mean by that is things going wrong or not knowing how to use the technology themselves, right? So if you don't know how to use a function or a feature on the platform that you are using, absolutely that could be a fear. And I do want to challenge this fear a little bit though, because essentially, if you're not sure how to do something, well, that's really on you. That's on you to spend some time on the platform, have a few dummy runs, so to speak, and really get used to the functions, the features, but also know that ultimately over time you do get better and better and better and better. And just like any other skill, it's just like any other skill that in the beginning you'll struggle a little bit. You won't be sure how to do certain things. So over time, you get better at it. You really do. And I want to, if you're going to take away any word for the second one here, have the thought around grace, have compassion, have understanding for yourself and for the participants as well. And if you are delivering online training, I highly recommend that you insist on the ground rule of grace. And you tell your participants in this environment, I want all of us to make a commitment to give grace to ourselves, to other people, and to the trainer if anything goes wrong tech wise. Do we all agree to that? Yes. Awesome. All right. So the key word is grace and set up that safe learning environment. Okay. Now, the next fear is the fear of people leaving. The fear of people leaving. Oh my gosh, someone's like professional. Now that is a perfectly valid fear. Now the thing is, in a face-to-face environment, it is a lot harder for people to leave. Face it, right? It's very visual, let's put it that way, or it's very obvious if someone stands up out of their chair in their face-to-face environment and walks out the door, right? But in an online environment, we are behind a keyboard. And if we are a participant and we're watching something, we know that we can just turn off our camera and pretty much head off, right? And no one's going to really notice so much because well, they will notice, but they're in their own learning space. So it's not so much of a big deal. But as you're a presenter, if you are worried about people leaving, that can certainly weigh on your mind. Now, the way that this fear can be dispelled is, and this is a bit of a challenge to the professional trainers out there, but when I heard this, everything transformed for me. And it transformed in the sense of I needed to learn to let people learn the way they like to learn. That's a little bit contrarian because in the face-to-face environment, we love people to sit there in a very formal sense. We love people to, really take attention and pay attention to, what we are teaching and, be active and be looking in and all those different things. But in the online environment, maybe someone actually likes to sit there in their pajamas and have the laptop on their lap. Maybe they like to sit there and do it in the kitchen. We don't know. We can't control. But the thing that was taught to me was let people learn the way they like to learn. And once I understood that, I took like all this pressure just lifted from me, and I suddenly gave myself and the participants a space and the time to be able to learn the way they like to learn. And that fear of people leaving was kind of dispelled, but at the same time, um, ultimately, if I was doing a great job, there's very little chance that people are actually going to leave as well. But I did set up the ground rule of if you are going to step away, please make sure that you send me a message in the chat box. All right. So, next fear. And this is the biggest fear that came up in the surveys. And I think it's a very interesting one. I think it's a very admirable one. And that one was not coming across authentic. Not coming across authentic. And I think this is a really, really important one. And a lot of people are concerned that, for example, how will my voice sound? For example, how will I look on camera? For example, what will they think of me? For example, will the lighting be right? For example, will they actually be able to sense who I really am? And, will I come across as the real me or not the real me or all of that? And all of that fear certainly comes up whenever a camera is involved. But what we need to really think about is ultimately, why are we there? Ultimately, why are we delivering training? And I would postulate or hypothesize that potentially we are there to help people solve problems. We are there to help people solve problems. And if we allow ourselves to really focus on helping people solve those problems, then that fear can really fall away. Because if we are speaking from the heart, there is a big probability that our words will land on the heart. And if we are speaking from a place of caring, empathy, and concern and love for our audience, then we are always going to come across as authentic as our true selves. So I just want to encourage any of you that have got that fear around coming across as inauthentic to just think about if I was talking to my best friend or someone I really cared about and they had the problem that I could solve, how would I come across and how would I present myself? And if you stay in that mindset, you will find that you are able to really come across as the real you. Okay. So just to recap on those fears, number one was the visibility around participants. Number two was tech issues. Number three was the fear of people leaving. And last of all, we had that fear of coming across as inauthentic. Okay. So hopefully some of the ideas that I've shared with you today will help you really embrace that fear and step into a place of being able to fully bring your true self when you deliver training online. Because if you are an experienced trainer, you do need to be masterful in not just the face-to-face environment, but also in the online environment. All right. So thanks so much for watching the video. If you want more tips, tricks, and new ideas around presenting and training, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.